Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillahi amma ba'd. Okay, we're back from our break now, inshallah. So let's jump into the phrase mining activity for this passage. But like we did before, or like we did yesterday, inshallah, before we jump into that, we quickly want to test our understanding of this passage again. So I'm going to request you guys to close your eyes again once more. Okay? I'm going to read this passage in Arabic. And I'm going to expect you to, inshallah, try and understand as much as you can. طيب, let's begin, بإذن الله. الاسم الأول هاشم محمد فؤاد. تاريخ الميلاد 15/12/1987. العنوان 13 شارع طريق سلوى عين خالد الدوحة. رقم الهاتف 77545426. البريد الإلكتروني hashim@example.com. التوقيع هاشم. التاريخ 23/2021. الأوراق المرفقة صورة شخصية، صورة عن الهوية أو جواز السفر، إثبات عنوان السكن. ستصدر البطاقة بعد 10 أيام من تاريخ الطلب. تمام. We just finished, so how was that now, inshallah, on a second attempt? Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. We'll try and repeat this again towards the end. Okay, so let's jump into phrase mining. Okay, starting with al-hadaf. So that's something that you've come across for the first time. Actually, we did it yesterday as well, but just do it again. So al-hadaf is your objective, right? Is your aim. Al-hadaf. So that's something that's going to go in your phrase book. Al-hadaf. Tamam? Right. في هذا الدرس. In this lesson. في هذا الدرس. That's a phrase for you. ستتعلم المعلومات التي تحتاج إليها. You can break it down into say ستتعلم المعلومات. You will learn information. That's a phrase. This is something that needs to go in your phrase books. المعلومات التي تحتاج إليها في مثلا an X, Y, and Z. Okay, that's another phrase for you. معلومات التي, the information that تحتاج إليها, you require it. في, and then the thing that you require that thing in. Okay? So that's another phrase for you. You should be aiming to add this in your phrase book. طيب, inshallah. Then, في تعبئة نموذج. Filling of the form. تعبئة نموذج. That's a phrase. Which نموذج? نموذج اشتراك في مكتبة. Okay? The form for joining the library. تمام? Right. And then you can do the whole thing. You can say تعبئة نموذج اشتراك في مكتبة. Combine with this, the similar thing that the heading. تعبئة نموذج بطاقة مكتبة. تعبئة نموذج بطاقة مكتبة. Filling of the form for the library card. تعبئة نموذج بطاقة مكتبة. So these are phrases that you need to extract from this and include in your phrase book. تمام. وتتدرب على استعمالها. That's another phrase for you. You will get practice upon its usage. So you will get enough practice for the usage of these معلومات. Okay? تتدرب. You will get practice. تتدرب. You will practice. تتدرب. تتدرب على. على is essential to the word, to the verb تتدرب. So make sure you learn them together. So this sentence can go in your phrase book. تتدرب على استعمالها. Or you can combine it. You can say تتدرب على استعمالها. Because the hamza over here, it's alif, is the wasl. So this is not read. This does not is not given a haraka when it comes in between letters. So تتدرب على استعمالها. In any case, this is another phrase. Okay. تتدرب على استعمالها. And like we mentioned yesterday, you guys need to make sure that you're thinking of use case scenarios where you can use this word, right? So, and then you can think, okay, so what if I say this? How would I say that in Arabic? How if I wanted to say this in English, or this in Arabic, the idea, how would I say it in Arabic, right? So you can then sort of use the similar phrase in different case scenarios, and then where you get stuck, you use your ChatGPT or Google Translate to help you, inshallah, find similar phrases relevant with this verb, تتدربوا على this phrase, right? Inshallah. Okay, another very common sentence you'll find in many Arab books that teach you to learn Arabic. Always, they'll always ask you to read the passage, then answer the questions, right? This is a common type of activity. So, اقرأ النص, read the passage. اقرأ النص. ثم أجب عن الأسئلة, then answer the questions. So you can break it down. You can say اقرأ النص, read the passage, and then ثم أجب عن الأسئلة. That could be another phrase for you. Or you can say أجب عن الأسئلة. Okay, that's another phrase. أجب عن الأسئلة, answer the questions. Right, and then you can combine the whole thing. اقرأ النص ثم أجب عن الأسئلة. Okay, it seems to be stuck. Just one moment. Let's see if I can. Yeah, back. Okay, an-nas, we just did it. An-nas is the text, right? So combine that in your phrase book. اقرأ النص. I mean, in fact, if you've done it over here, you don't need to do it separately. اقرأ النص includes that word, right? But as a rule of thumb, we are never going to include individual words in our phrase book. It always has to be a sentence or a phrase where the word is used. طيب, inshallah. Right, al-ism al-awwal, the first name, without the family name. Okay, so over here, al-ism al-awwal, they probably mean the whole full name without the family name at the end. So it has Hashim Muhammad Fuad, name of the father and everything, but it doesn't have the family name at the end. So ismul a'ila is the name of the family. Ismul a'ila. It is actually mentioned in the notes here, over here. So inshallah we'll extract that later. But Ismul Awwal is the first name, and in this context, it's very clear that they require your full name other than your family name. Of course, thing is in modern cultures, like of course in Britain, but in Pakistan as well nowadays, you don't really include any family names anymore, right? You have your father name and your name, and that's it really. But the Arabs, they because it's a culture, so they have a name and then they have the family name, right? So Ismul Awwal would just mean the full name of the person, but this would mean, in our context, would just mean the first name Hashim, right? In any case, Al-Ismul Awwal is your name, okay? Al-Ism would be the full name and then just the name generally, and Al-Ismul Awwal would be the first name, right? In our context, it would just be Hashim, and in the context of the Arab world, Ismul Awwal, what they mean from you is the full name without the family name at the end. So Hashim Muhammad Fuad, leaving out the Al-Hamad or Al-Qasim or whatever the family name is, okay? So that's fine. Al-Ismul Awwal is the phrase. Tarikh al-Milad, Al-Unwan, Unwan al-Shari', Unwan al-Bayt, okay? Unwan al-Sakan, Unwan al-Sakan, okay? So when you include this al-unwan, don't include the word on its own, right? And make sure to include unwan al-sakan, right, as a phrase, so that you can understand it, or at least use it as a phrase. Unwan al-sakan, inshallah. Or you can just include the sentence as a whole in your phrase book, inshallah, and that is also fine. It keeps getting stuck. 1 second, right? Then, how do you say 13 or house number 13? Or in residence number 13, Tariq Salwa Street. You say 13 Shari'u Tariq Salwa. That's another phrase for you. This is how you say the street numbers. Okay? Right. Raqmul Hatif. Raqmul Hatif. That's another phrase for you. You extract that out. Al-Barid al-Elektroni. Right? The email address. So the email. That's another phrase for you. At-Tawqi'. Right? At-Tawqi'. Now, a pro tip would be to, when you're extracting these individual words, think of a sentence you can use them in. Okay, for example, you say, if you want to ask someone, what is your date of birth? So you can say, ما هو تاريخ ميلادك? right? So extract this word and then a common use case of this word, right? ما هو عنوانك? What's your address? عنوان سكنك. What's your house address? طيب. ما هو رقم الهاتف? ما هو رقم هاتفك? So we did this in a sentence already in the daily phrases. البريد الإلكتروني. نعم البريد الإلكتروني. التوقيع. التوقيع signature. تمام. Right. ضع التوقيع هنا. Place your signature here. So you can inshallah take that phrase in your phrase book. التاريخ. The date. طيب inshallah. الأوراق المرفقة. Phrase. صورة شخصية. That's a phrase for you. This is a phrase. So essentially each of because this the way they've structured it is essentially bullet pointed. So you can just use these as phrases for yourselves inshallah. إثبات عنوان السكن. MashaAllah. Right. إثبات عنوان السكن. And then this last sentence. ستصدر البطاقة بعد 10 أيام من تاريخ الطلب. Okay. You can break this down into 3 parts. ستصدر البطاقة, the card will be issued. Okay. بعد 10 أيام من تاريخ الطلب. Right. Separate 3 phrases, and then you can come back and say بعد 10 أيام. Sorry. بعد 10 أيام من تاريخ الطلب. That's a phrase. And then ستصدر البطاقة بعد 10 أيام. Okay, inshallah. So combine this in different phrases, different phrase forms, so that you have enough practice, and then you can use different parts of it in different forms. For example, ستحصل البطاقة. You will get the بطاقة. ستحصل على البطاقة. You'll get the card بعد 20 يوما, right? After 20 days perhaps, right? So you can start to play with it, inshallah, in your mind, and then start to say, okay, I can't say this, so how do I say this in Arabic? And then you check yourself and you include that in your phrase book. This is a life skill, okay? Inshallah, I'll be doing a lot of this work for you later in our later learning stages. But initially, I want to get you guys, in the habit of to start doing this, okay? Inshallah, this is a life skill I want you guys to pick up, because you might have to learn different languages later in your life, right? For whatever different reasons. And you're going to be teaching it to others as well. It saves a lot of trouble to new students if they can learn these life skills in the beginning, inshallah, okay? Important skills for learning. Right. Right. فائدة. في أغلب الدول العربية. In most of the Arabic countries. That's a phrase for you. Okay. في أغلب الدول العربية. In most of the Arabic countries. How would you say in most of the Arabic countries? في أغلب الدول العربية. تمام؟ يكتب الاسم الأول أولا ثم اسم العائلة. That's a phrase for you. يكتب الاسم الأول أولا. The first name, الاسم الأول, يكتب, is written أولا, first. ثم اسم العائلة, then the name of the family. يكتب اسم الأول, the first name is written أولا, first. ثم اسم العائلة, then the name of the family. اسم العائلة. So اسم الأول is the first name, and then اسم العائلة is the name of the family. Okay, inshallah. So that's a phrase for you. Right. ويمكن تمييز اسم العائلة أحيانا, and sometimes it is possible to differentiate the name of the family sometimes. Okay, sometimes it is easy for you to distinguish the name of the family from the actual name. Why? By 2 identifiers. When إذا احتوى على التعريف أو إذا احتوى على ياء النسبة. When it is made up of alif, when it has alif lam. This is the easy translation. Okay, so إذا احتوى على التعريف. When it has alif lam of ta'rif, the alif lam of identification, al-Hamad, al-Qasim, the al for identification. Okay, so this is easy. It is possible for us to do. It is possible to distinguish the name of the family sometimes when it has alif lam of ta'rif, or إذا احتوى على يا النسبة, when it has the ya of النسبة, the ya of ascription, when you ascribe to a certain place, right? Okay, inshallah. So ala, yeah, nisba. So that's the phrase ihtawa ala. احتوى على التعريف احتوى على ياء النسب أو نسبة. This is ياء النسبة. طيب إن شاء الله. احتوى على التعريف احتوى على ياء النسبة. When we say the name of the family has alif lam, what do we mean by that? We mean Al-Hamad, Al-Qasim, and Al-Sa'ih, Al-Fawzan, names like that. طيب. And when we say يعني الاسم اسم العائلة احتوى على ياء النسبة, when we say it has ياء النسبة at the end, we say المصري, الرافعي, سعودي, بريطاني, باكستاني. فهمتم إن شاء الله؟ واضح؟ Is it clear for both of you, inshallah? And for all the students, inshallah, is it clear? Bidnillah ta'ala? Should we move on to the next point? The country names. So if someone belongs to a certain country, if I wanted to say Ana Harith al-Pakistani, I'm Harris from Pakistan, right? So al-Pakistani is considered an ismul aila. Essentially, it mentions your belonging, right? Belonging to it. Okay, inshallah? You ascribe to a certain place because you come from it, you belong to it. Okay? So the ismul aila, the name of the family, essentially, it's either given by the name of the some great grandfather with alif lam, so Al-Hamad, Al-Fawzan, Al-Sa'ih, Al-Qasim, and so on and so forth, like this, with alif lam in the beginning, or it simply describes the place you belong to, Al-Misri, right? You can say, مثلا, for example, this name that we found here, Hashim Muhammad Fuad Al-Misri. The Al-Misri would come under Ismul Aila, and Hashim Muhammad Fuad would come under Ismul Awal. Okay. Likewise, Hashim Muhammad Fuad Al-Saudi, Hashim Muhammad Fuad Al-Pakistani, مثلا. طيب. Alternatively, you could have Hashim Muhammad Fuad Al-Fawzan, Hashim Muhammad Fuad Al-Badr, and so on and so forth. Tamam? So these are your family names. And normally, as I said, commonly, you have these two types of Ismul Aila, essentially. Either Ismun, your nisbah, you're belonging to a country, or the great family name that you have, right? Inshallah. Right. The next point was just to tell you how to write Arabic dates in Arabic. Sorry. لكتابة التاريخ في العربية. For writing dates in Arabic. That's a phrase that you need to include in your phrase books. طيب. لكتابة التاريخ في العربية. For writing dates in Arabic, what do? نبدأ باليوم ثم الشهر. We begin with the day, ثم الشهر, then the month, ثم السنة, then the year. That's a phrase for you. We begin, how do we say? We begin with the day, then the month, then the year. نبدأ باليوم ثم الشهر ثم السنة. Okay, نبدأ باليوم ثم الشهر ثم السنة. We begin, نبدأ باليوم ثم الشهر ثم السنة. Okay, inshallah? So that's a phrase for you, inshallah. Let me just quickly refresh this. It keeps pausing for some reason. So it gets stuck. Okay. يستخدم التقويم الميلادي في معظم الدول العربية. يستخدم التقويم الميلادي. The Gregorian Miladi calendar, Milad al-Miladi, Gregorian, coming from the birth after, or the calendar that we use in the western part of the world, that comes from the calendar that is used after the birth of Isa alayhi salam. يستخدم التقويم الميلادي, right? That calendar, so the Gregorian calendar is used. يستخدم is used in the passive, okay? يستخدم, he uses, and يستخدم is used. يستخدم, okay? But we learn يستخدم as a standalone phrase. No need to worry about the grammar of it at this moment. يستخدم is used. تقويم الميلادي the Gregorian calendar, في معظم الدول العربية, in most of the Arab countries. You learned another way of saying in most of the Arab countries, just over here. في أغلب الدول العربية, right? In most of the Arabia. So في أغلب الدول العربية, or do you see it over here, inshallah? In the beginning over here, في أغلب الدول العربية over here, right? And في معظم الدول العربية. تمام, inshallah? So these are two ways of saying the same thing. Essentially, in most of the Arab countries. في أغلب الدول countries. دولة is one country and دول are countries. So معظم الدول العربية, Arabic countries, Arabic nations. في معظم, most. في أغلب or في معظم, in most. Okay, inshallah? So that's a phrase. في معظم الدول. في معظم الأحيان, in most of the time. في معظم الأحيان, or في أغلب الأحيان, in most of the time. Right? That's a phrase that you will probably use a lot, right? So make that a part of your phrase book. Inshallah. How do I say most of the time I eat healthy foods? Right? في معظم الأحيان أكل الأطعمة الصحية مثلا, right? I eat healthy foods. And other examples that you can think of, inshallah. But this is your activity that you have to indulge in. If I do the work for you, you're not going to learn as effectively. طيب, inshallah. So this is the burden that we have to bear. So في معظم الدول العربية, in most of the Arabic countries. في أغلب الدول العربية, in most of the Arabic countries. So two ways of describing the same thing. طيب. Now التقويم الميلادي, Gregorian calendar. يستخدم التقويم الميلادي. The Gregorian calendar is used. يستخدم. طيب. ولكن, however, that's a phrase for you. ولكن, however, بعض الدول العربية, some of the Arabic countries. So now that's a phrase. بعض الدول العربية, some, بعض. Okay. ولكن بعض الدول العربية. So معظم الدول العربية, most of the Arabic countries. بعض الدول العربية, some of the Arabic countries. Okay, so this is the opposite of معظم or أغلب. بعض is some. طيب, inshallah. ولكن بعض الدول العربية. Okay, inshallah. بعض الدول العربية تستخدم, the nation Arabic, some of the Arabic nations, بعض الدول العربية تستخدم. Do you think this is relevant or related to the phrase يستخدم that we did just a few minutes ago? يستخدم التقويم الميلادي, and الدول العربية, بعض الدول العربية تستخدم. Do you think these two words are related? يستخدم, تستخدم. Do you think that these are related? Yeah, right? The only difference is the form, the difference of these harakat, right? يستخدم is essentially saying is used. التقويم الميلادي يستخدم. The Gregorian calendar is used. But when you say تستخدم, right, that refers to the Arabic nations, okay? And now we're saying that some of the Arabic countries, they use. So it's not saying is used. So this type of calendar is used in the passive. We're saying they use something. What did they use? تستخدم التقويم الهجري. Okay, inshallah. They use التقويم الهجري. نعم. They use التقويم الهجري. Right, inshallah. You should be able to see the screen in a second. I think there's an internet cut. I think we lost internet for some reason. But we're nearly done. So تقويم الهجري is Hijri calendar. تقويم الميلادي is a Gregorian calendar. تمام, inshallah. So بعض الدول العربية, some Arabic nations تستخدم. Some Arabic nations use. تستخدم. What do they use? التقويم الهجري. The Arabic calendar. تمام, inshallah. Okay, so this is our phrase mining for this passage. Done, alhamdulillah. Okay, I think we have perhaps... No, we're back, alhamdulillah. Right. Right. Before we end this session, let us quickly sign in. Right, I'm going to reread... Where did we go? Yep. Right, so inshallah, before we end the session, we're going to again close our eyes. I'm going to read the thing to you, and let's see if we can make sense of it. Okay? Inshallah. I asked a question before that, right? So, تستخدم is active and يستخدم is passive. So it's a difference of passive and active, not feminine and masculine. Okay, inshallah? Although, yes, the ya is for he, right, when it's used. And it's the ta is used for the feminine. Okay, inshallah. But over here, because the difference of harakat, if it was yastakhdimu, tastakhdimu, then we would probably, let's say, interpret to mean, for the male or for the female, for example, right? But in this case, we're not doing that. It's a difference of harakat. طيب. So yustakhdam is a passive form of the verb, and then tastakhdimu is active. It uses tastakhdim. Okay. For example, هل تستخدم اللغة العربية في حياتك يومية مثلا? Do you use Arabic in your daily life? هل تستخدم اللغة العربية? Do you use Arabic language? Right? So this is an example, right? هل يستخدم اللغة العربية في Pakistan? Is Arabic used in Pakistan? That would be a passive version of the same verb, right? So تستخدم active, and then يستخدم or تستخدم is passive. But inshallah, all of this will come later. For now, just learn them as separate, standalone words, inshallah. And over time, it will make more sense. All right. What are grammar babs? Sorry. Oh, babs. Yes. That is exactly what I'm referring to. The bab of ma'ruf and majhul. Yes. It's not babs. You mean babs. طيب. Yes. That is exactly what I'm referring to. The abwab of the af'al, the verbs have different forms, right? So when we have the bab, right, it can either be expressed as active or passive, right? So it can either be ma'ruf or majhul. Inshallah, anyway, all of this is a bit advanced. I don't want to confuse anyone listening. So let's jump into the listening activity for this session, and then we'll break this session. طيب, inshallah, we'll have a quick break and then come back for the next session. طيب, eyes closed, everyone. بإذن الله تعالى. Eyes closed. طيب, here we go. النص. In fact, let's start with the top this time. Okay. تعبئة نموذج بطاقة مكتبة. الهدف في هذا الدرس ستتعلم المعلومات التي تحتاج إليها في تعبئة نموذج اشتراك في مكتبة، وتتدرب على استعمالها. اقرأ النص ثم أجب عن الأسئلة. النص. الاسم الأول هاشم محمد فؤاد. تاريخ الميلاد 15/12/1987. العنوان 13 شارع طريق سلوى عين خالد الدوحة. رقم الهاتف 77545426. البريد الإلكتروني hashim@example.com. التوقيع. التاريخ 23/2021. الأوراق المرفقة صورة شخصية، صورة عن الهوية أو جواز السفر. إثبات عنوان السكن. ستصدر البطاقة بعد 10 أيام من تاريخ الطلب. Right, you can open your eyes now, inshallah, and give me your number. How far do you think you've come, mashallah, with just 3 listens, with just 3 repetitions of the same passage, mashallah? Of course, I read it a bit slower this time as well. quickly, everyone. Okay, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Right, mashallah. So overall, in the actual nas, mashallah, you guys are performing well. But because I included the first part, right, and we had not had a listen of that before, so I expected for the number to go down. Mashallah, well done, alhamdulillah. Right, so inshallah, this passage and the passage from yesterday will become part of your daily listening activity. The phrase from the phrase book or the audiobook section, inshallah. طيب. And as we've said, all the phrases that we've extracted, all of those are going to go inside your phrase book in English and Arabic at the same time, parallel to each other, and you're going to review it every single day. If you don't review it, if you miss a day, inshallah, if that happens, of course, try and not miss a second day or the third day. Always get back when you fall. But it's important that you don't skip your these daily reviews, and also listen. Make sure you listen every day. Okay, inshallah, because listening is going to directly translate into your speaking. The well you can, the better you become at listening, the better you'll become at speaking very soon, inshallah. Tayyib. And the confidence you'll get with the Arabic language. Tamam. Alhamdulillah. Right, so let's break for another quick break, inshallah, and then we'll come back for another session in a few minutes. Barakallahu feekum.